What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Taste Like Music. Jason and Joe here. 2023 week, where we're going over our favorite music of the year. We've already looked at our favorite albums, and now we're each going to give you our 25 favorite songs of the year. We're going to just alternate back and forth like we did in the Arctic Monkeys video. All right, yeah, number 25, Joe.
All right, my number 25 is an old school band with a pretty solid comeback. Actually, I didn't think it was very good. A lot of people seem to like it, though. I have the Rolling Stones with Sweet Sounds of Heaven. I'm going to credit Lady Gaga on this as the secret sauce on this one to make this Stone sound almost young again. And everything else, disappointing to me, but I thought that was a very good kind of final statement for the band, if that is their last album. Might not be. They're never going away.
My number 25 is I Hate Everything But You by Nordista Freeze. Did not put out a record this year, so it was just a single, but kind of a fun, bratty rock song. A sentiment that's been expressed a million times in songs, but his take on it is hilarious, and just how far he takes it with lines like, I hate eating stupid food. I hate when I have to chew. I hate everything but you. It's a lot of fun.
All right, my number 24 is King from Anjamili. Anjamil? I don't know how to say their name. But this is a really cool song. Kicks off their album. And it starts a little slow. And then the host of these like backing choral vocals come in. And a really intense, powerful, what I think is a harpsichord. It's like a harpsichord or a clavinet or something like that. Really cool sounding, just repetition. And then it speeds up into this like really menacing, like horror movie sounding rapid fire part. And it's really cool. I've just never heard anyone use the instrument like that before. And it's just a really interesting progressive R&B track.
Number 24 for me is No Fun slash Party by Kara Jackson. Beautifully poetic lyrics, like the rest of the album is, and could have chosen a number of tracks from that record, but something about the melody to this one sticks with me, even though, I mean, it's not a pop song, it's not like hooky per se, but just kind of sticks in my mind, and I love her voice. So
Okay, well, that's interesting. My number 23 is Rat by Kara Jackson. And this is like an 8 minute, I'm not going to call it like a Dylan-esque track, but it kind of reminds me, very long and sprawling, expertly crafted lyrics about a drifter. Stripped down, it's just her and guitar mostly, but she's got a really cool, unique voice. And it's just got this like strange gravity and pull to the song. It makes it sound really important. It's just really, really cool, really out of kind of left field.
number 23 for me is Ocean's Niagara by M83. It's got that classic M83 sound, blending rock instruments with just huge synth sounds. It's epic, it's anthemic, it's everything I've wanted them to be doing since Hurry Up, We're Dreaming, and didn't quite get that sound with the last couple releases. And I also don't think people talk enough about how great of a singer Anthony Gonzalez is. I think he's got a really cool voice.
That's true. He does. My number 22, I'm gonna go with a new artist that I just discovered like 3 days ago. Quantum Suicide by Nourished by Time from their Erotic Probiotic 2 album. And the singing is wild. It's like the bass parts of like Boys to Men or the singing in Crossroads by Bone Thugs and Harmony. It's surrounded by these laid back 80s grooves. There's like a touch of shoegaze in there as well. It's a really weird, just unique combination that doesn't sound like anything else, I think, out there in the music world right now. So really like that track.
My number 22 is Cyclades by Buck Meek. Great storytelling where he's kind of like recounting the tale of his dad crashing his motorcycle, and then later in the song talking about a car crash that his parents were in. And great guitar work, just really like textural, almost really textural, almost like this wind chime kind of tone. And then there's really cool, heavy, distorted guitar solo as well. Yeah, cool. Just Buck Meek doing Buck Meek.
Doing Buck Meek things. My number 21, I'm gonna go with Fog Machine by White Reaper. Another album that was kind of disappointing, but this lead single from them, just bratty power pop, a little grimy, a little poppy, modern sounding, but old school DNA and a really killer, almost metal guitar solo as well in there. So that song was great. The rest of the album, yeah, common theme this year.
21, Miami by Caroline Rose. After her previous record, Superstar, kind of stayed too much in the same lane as the record before it. This one, I think, finds a pretty interesting new musical path and lyrically really digging deep, but just a confessional, self-examining, raw, just cool stuff.
My number 21, I'm gonna go with Joby Riccio's Lonely Tonight. Got a really interesting like the staccato drum beat locked in with this banjo. It has like the romance of classic country, but it also throws in what I think are like synth strings. And it has this like weird, I don't know if it's like electronic or what it is, but the song sounds like it's emulating like an old school like country tune, but with sort of new instrumentation. I can't quite get my finger on why it sounds weird and what they're doing to make it sound different, but just a really pretty song with a touch of freshness from modern instrumentation.
Number 20 for me is Act Natural by Margaret Glaspie. First time I played this single, heard that opening riff, it was just such a relief knowing that this may be the return to form after a pretty lousy sophomore effort. The chorus I think is great, the rhythm section too, and they play so dynamically and they get real quiet in the verse and it just works really well. Glad to have her back.
Number 19 is going to be Heartburn by Molly Birch. Just straight up ripped from the 1982 city pop scene from Japan. It could be produced by Tetsuro Yamashita. Um, just really great. Love to see city pop get its day in the sun here in 2023. And just a fun song, at least instrumentally. It's kind of depressing lyrically, like most of her tracks from the album. But it's a great album and it's a great song.
My number 19 is Lock Me Inside by Nico Palu. Love the song, gorgeous, but it makes my list for a particular moment. There's this part in the song when the bass and the drums drop in, and it's just like, I don't know, there's like this tinkling, arpeggiating piano part before that happens that's building this tension, and then you get this beat drop in, and it's just such a release, and I think it's one of my favorite musical moments of the year.
My number 18, I'm gonna go with some Fallout Boy. Why not? Hold Me Like a Grudge. You got Patrick Stump doing his breathless Michael Jackson impression a little bit on the verse. And you get that full-on big emo pop punk sing-along chorus. And that's why I like Fall Out Boy.
Number 18 for me is People Are Toys to You by Joanna Sternberg. And this song is just her seeming to be looking back at a toxic relationship and just letting this person really have it. And at the same time, it's so upbeat. It's got this bounce to it. And I don't know, it sounds kind of sweet and catchy at the same time. It's got this great little guitar solo as well. I would assume that that's Matt Sweeney playing that, but I'm not positive. Yeah, just catchy, fun kind of song where she's kind of digging in to an ex.
Number 17 is gonna be Smoke by Victoria Monet. Or maybe it's Monette. I don't know. T's are tricky. It's a little nimble R&B number, crosses the old and the new schools very effectively. Great little touches of organ just in there. It's just a slinky, catchy, funny song that does modern R&B proud.
My number 17 is Turpentine by H.C. McIntyre. Just a beautiful rustic Americana tune featuring Amy Ray of the Indigo Girls. But it's the guitar that steals the show. Perhaps the best guitar solo of the year. Luke Norton, just the sickest tone. And there's actually two killer solos on this song, one in the middle of the tune and then a long kind of extended outro solo. And it's just some of the best playing I heard this year.
My number 16, I'm gonna go with Cinderella from Michaela Davis. And you got pedal steel and harp. And that is not a sound I'm very familiar with. I don't think anyone really has done much of that. Maybe Joanna Newsom at some point. But this song's got almost a bluegrass Alison Krauss Union Station feel to it. And it's just that combination of that pedal steel and that harp. And it's a very good song too, but that's just like a totally new sound that I just couldn't get enough of.
My number 16 is How Long by Sumbuck. It's kind of like a Justin Vernon type falsetto doing 70s soul. I love the vocals on it. I love the warm electric piano. There's some great brass and a really cool flute solo as well. So, yeah, this is the guy from the band Camp, who I think I hate, but this song is awesome.
Need to figure that one out. Might be hating them for no reason. My number 15, I'm gonna go with Three Summers by Jeff Rosenstock. Final track on Hell Mode, big epic 7 minute emo, just chaotic and messy. And some of it sounds like some alt rock, and then some emo comes in. And then the last couple minutes is just these huge, just giant cathartic choruses with Jeff just like screaming. And it's just a spectacular way to end an album.
My number 15 is Dorothy Bay by Tiny Ruins, band from New Zealand. Really cool groove to this one. Might be my favorite bass tone of the year, just really elastic and slinky sounding. And there's a point, I think in the second verse or a little later in the song, where the track kind of breaks down to just the bass and it sounds really cool. A bit haunting as well, great melody, just cool song overall.
Number 14 is going to be Kamikaze by Carly Rae Jepsen. And I think it's the track from The Loveliest Time that sounds closest to a track from her masterpiece, Emotion. It has the best chorus on the album. And when Carly's choruses are on, they are always just amazing. And just, I love Carly, so got to get something from her on the list.
Number 14 is Astral Plane by Say She. Wasn't quite as taken with the whole album. I got really excited when I first heard this song on the radio. I thought I was finding what might be like an album of the year contender. The rest of the record, not quite as much for me, but really cool, kind of retro futuristic disco tune. Really a jam, funky, spacey, ethereal, great vocals.
My number 13 is going to be Ebony Eye by Eves Tumor. Just a really great R&B, progressive, whatever you want to call this new school of R&B. Kind of sounds like Prince, sort of in space or something. I don't know. Uh, but it's just great. It's epic. It's got the whole choir on the choruses, some really great drumming, really just bombastic strings. Just a big ass R&B track.
My number 13 is Angel by Alice Phoebe Liu. Incredibly nuanced vocal performance, great production and arranging. Some faint pedal steel coming in the background, so you know I love that. The band dropping out when she sings the line, "Is it safe to go outside?" is just, I think, a perfect way to kind of build into that chorus when the band comes back in. It sounds great. So yeah, probably my favorite track from that record.
Number 12 is going to be Emotion Sickness from Queens of the Stone Age. We reviewed it right here on this channel. And In Times New Roman, another album that kind of underperformed my expectations. But I love this one. It's just dirty 70s, glammy stomper of a track. And it's just got all the things you want in a Queens of the Stone Age song. And unfortunately, the rest of the album, again, geez, a lot of disappointment this year for me in life and in music. So it's tough. But Motion Sickness, great song.
My number 12 is From the Start by Leve. Love me some bossa nova. And this one's really authentic sounding. You know, if I didn't know better, might believe that it's some lost track from the mid 60s or something like that. But at the same time, she kind of betrays that authenticity by dropping in lines like "she's so perfect," blah blah blah, which have this like more modern feel to them. And her scat singing, that scat section is so good. I think she's a great singer, and I like the whole album a lot, but this song especially.
My number 11, I'm gonna go with Earl King from Empty Country. Messy replacements meets Springsteen kind of sounding Heartland rock from the former frontman of Symbols Eat Guitars, who I love. Heavy stuff, talks about the aftermath of mass shootings, and it's just a really powerful, raw rock track, really great solo in the middle, really great big choruses on it. Just everything you come to expect from Joseph D'Agostino, who's also known as Empty Country. It's his solo stuff.
My number 11 is Where Are Your Kids Tonight by CMAT. Once kind of alt country artist CMAT brings in John Grant to guest on this track, and they drop this kind of 80s tinged ode to aging with some pretty hilarious and honest lyricism. So, yeah, great track.
Number 10, I'm gonna go with the Foo Fighters. Something from them had to make it on here. I think my favorite track is gonna be But Here We Are. This track boils down to Dave just pushing his voice to the point where it's, breaking, basically just letting it all out, just on the brink of, tears, basically, as he just screams out everything he wanted to say. And it's got incredible drumming from him, and it's just pure, I don't know, catharsis, I guess, is a good word for it. I use that word too much, but that's really what this song is all about. Just Dave pushing it all the way.
My number 10 is Cosmic Leash by Chris Farron. This album's kind of like power pop, pop punk adjacent, but this chorus on this track is so heavy, bringing in a little bit of emo, and he's just screaming his lungs out. The guitar's crying out. Just great rock song, super catchy too. So
My number 9 is going to be Bloomy from Suzanne Sunfor, the best sung song of the year. I think I can say that with authority. Just amazing, light, jazzy. There's a little sax solo in there. Got hints of 70s, Joni or Laura Nyro. And it's just gorgeous. It's pure, gorgeous little songwriting. It's just amazing.
my number 9 is Caroline by the band Phony. Keeping it going with some rock here. This song just sounds like a great lost alt rock song from the mid 90s. It's like something you would have seen on 120 minutes, and they play it one time, and then you have to carry the name of it in your head for weeks until you can make it to a record store to purchase it. But it feels like a relic of a lost era.
That's weird. Because that's kind of what I have to say about this track. Twice from 12 Rods. It's got a great jazzy chord progression, married with this kind of casual late 90s alt rock groove. 12 Rods is a new band for me, but they're not new. They've been around for a while, but I just discovered them. This album was sort of remnants from when they broke up in 2002, and the lead singer is basically carrying on the name, but it sounds like it's straight out of 1998, which isn't a good thing normally, but they do 1998 correctly. So it sounds great.
My number 8 is The Bandits of Blue Sky by King Tuff. Kind of great Beatle-esque psych pop from a band that once specialized in stonery riffage. Great chorus on this, falsetto vocals. I love the verse chord progression.
My number 7, I'm gonna go with Pet Rock from Lorraine. I think this is reasonably call this the most progressive little track of the whole year. Pet Rock constantly is just pulling the rug out from under you. It crams in like 3 separate movements into this 2 minute and 45 second song. There's some incredible bass playing, some great synth work, some cool guitar. It's all this stuff that you wouldn't normally, expect from a progressive R&B artist, but it totally works, and it's a great album as well from Lorraine. One of my favorites of the year. I Killed Your Dog is what it's called.
My number 7 is Halloween Store by Andy Schaaf. Just great writing, the level of detail that he gets into here, like talking about how he got high and then he goes to the car and is thinking, did I lock the door? So he goes back to the house, but he leaves his keys in the car, and then he's able to reach in a window and get his keys, but then he drives away without ever locking the front door. So just the way he gets into this kind of like minute details of everyday life and adds so much humor to it. I think it's the kind of writing that only he really does.
All right, my number six, I'm gonna go with The Movie from BC Camplight. Sad sack, self-deprecating, cinematic little piece of songwriting from him. He's able to work in spoken word parts, narration, basically a back and forth breakup in the middle of the track. It's really weird, but it's incredibly compelling, and it's a sadly beautiful look at a breakup, sort of in mid-break and the before and after. So, really great use of just narration and composition to create a very compelling little track.
My number six is Morning Dove, Morning with a U by Screaming Females. This is one of the most rocking songs on my list, but also possibly the catchiest. I think it's something really missing from a lot of rock these days. I think if more rock bands had this level of melodicism, the genre might not be dying a slow death. But this song absolutely rolls, both in its like heaviness and in its catchiness.
Didn't hear that one, but sounds like I should have. Number five, a single, the only single on my list, as in there was no album attached to it. But I yearn for an album from these two, Thundercat and Tame Impala, with No More Lies, which answers the question I've always had. What if Tame Impala and Thundercat made a song together? Which basically is my new dream going forward. So I hope they're working on it right now. You got that transcendent bass work. You got Tame Impala's, old school meets new school synth stuff. Got some yacht rock, some funk, some R&B, some electro pop, and you got some, trademark humor from Thundercat in the lyrics. Just a really great track. Hopefully part of a larger whole coming later.
My number five is Ghost Run Free by Lemon Twigs. Love everything about this track, the jangly guitar, the busy bass line, super high. Somebody's waiting for me, and the backing vocals of the later choruses of the song. It's just pure pop confection, super catchy. Can't get it out of your head once you hear it. So good.
Number four, I'm gonna go with The End Is Now from HMLTD, Hamilton, from The Worm. Really cool arrangement of vocal parts here. The lead male vocals and a bunch of kind of choral female backing vocals throughout. Really interesting, almost sounds like samples, the way it comes in and out. A really old school instrumentation, piano, synth, lyra, kind of sounds like Jethro Tull or something. And it's just very kind of like cuts off and all over the place and off kilter and very progressive. Really dig it. Cool album from HMLTD.
My number four is from my album of the year, Chosen to Deserve by Wednesday. This track just sounds enormous. It sounds so good. It's mixed so well, and it's maybe the best example of their blending of slacker rock and alt country. It's just so seamless here, the way that the steel kind of finds this space within this crunchy, heavy guitar stuff happening, especially in the intro of the song. There's just it's just a perfect marriage of the two sides, and I think it's great.
My number three, I'm gonna go with Avenged Sevenfold and Cosmic is the tune. Really great masterclass in shredding from Sinister Gates. Love the way the solos cascade into each other and kind of hang on while the next part starts from underneath. Really cool, really spacey. And then it, ends all the rock shreddy parts and blasts off into space, and it's got this interesting little pop progressive part. There's some vocoder vocals, a symphony, some really cool sounding drums, spacey synth lines. So really weird mix of like classic rock and then kind of pulling in from modern pop a little bit and not something you'd normally expect from Avenged Sevenfold, but they're hip, they're cool, they're with it.
Number three, I've got Prism by Jenny O. Moody and mysterious, one of the vibiest tracks of the year. Sexy, sensual, but also a little dark. It's just a very atmospheric and cool track.
My number two, runner up on the year. I'm gonna go Free Yourself from Jesse Ware. Just really thrilling, old school sounding disco, touch of modern production flavor to it. It's big and bold and bright and brash, and Ware just kills it with the vocal performance. So much fun. It's the funnest track of the year, hands down, hands down.
My number two is See Ya There by Genesis Owusu. Never has telling someone see you in hell sounded so smooth as it does on this great R&B slow jam type of number. I just think it's really, yeah, just the groove of it, the R&B side of this record is really cool. And I think he does it really well here.
Interesting, interesting. All right. For the first time in channel history, someone with the name Lil is winning my song of the year. I'm gonna go with Lil Yachty in Black Seminole is my favorite track on this year, the year of our Lord 2023. It's not my most listened to track of the year. That would probably be For Yourself by Jesse Ware. But on Black Seminole, it's like the first song I heard this year, and that remains, I heard it a long time ago, but throughout the year remains the most new, interesting sounding song of the year. It feels different. It feels like something that no one else has done before. It feels like exploring entirely new territory, a chance to create a whole new genre. And I think it's really the only song that I've heard this year that can even reasonably make that claim. You've got the auto-tune vocoder enhanced vocals on it, but it also has really cool guitar parts, great instrumentation. It kind of like he condensed like Pink Floyd's entire 70s discography into a single song. Like it's got the wailing female vocals in the end, a la Dark Side of the Moon. It's got those guitar solos. It's just got this like spacey, progressive Pink Floyd vibe. It's really cool. It's really interesting. If you can get past the vocals, which I know some people won't be able to, but I just think it's a fusion of old and new in a unique way that might not change music. Maybe it will. It'd be nice if it does, but I think it opens up like entirely new avenues for modern hip hop and rap artists to explore because it's by Lil Yachty. Like that's not something not something you would expect to hear from an artist named Lil Yachty, but I think this blows the doors off, what an artist like Lil Yachty can do. So think it is the best song of the year and the most interesting, and my number one, Black Seminole by Lil Yachty.
I've got a challenger entering the ring for Joe's title of funnest song of the year. I think this outdoes the Jesse Ware. I've got Electric Fish by Anna Frango Electrico. Just a straight banger, super funky, killer bass line, a fire vocal performance. She sounds incredible on it. Irresistible horn lines and then vocals doubling horn lines. And it's just incredible, super fun. Yeah, just a great pop song from Brazil, Ana Frango Electrico.
Those are some weird picks for number ones,
Yeah,
which is good.
I
It's
like it.
good. Yeah. Glad it's not some first name, last name guy from you and Avenged Sevenfold or some old school artist from me. Break things up a little bit. Let's get fresh. Let's get new on this channel.
Yeah, unpredictability is the way forward. We're gonna keep everyone on their toes from now on. Probably not, but okay. Thanks for watching. Let us know whose list you liked better. Let us know your favorite songs of the year. Drop that all in the comments. Hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and check out the video description for links to our social media as well as our Patreon. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.